Okay, so I saw Bob drop by, Bob Sumner. He's actually put me on Def Jam. And a lot of people don't, well, who would know except me? But I wanted to get on Def Jam so bad, like most comedians do. And he kept telling me no. And I'm like, I'm cold as shit. How come I can't be on Def Jam? And it was the year that Mike Epps was the host. And so I really felt like I was ready. And he turned me down. But when he turned me down, he said, the reason I turned you down is because basically you're only going to get better. Whenever this comes back around, you're only going to be better than you are right now. And I want you to be at your best when you do get on Def Jam. And so when it did come back around and DL Hughley was hosting, I did get on Def Jam and I was absolutely my best. So sometimes we think we're ready for things and you could be, but there could be an opportunity for you to be even better at something that you were just going to be good at. You know what I mean? Like you can be like absolutely great and dominate. And that's what I did. So I appreciate him for telling me no. Sometimes you got to appreciate those no's. And I actually also appreciate him for telling me why. So I didn't have to sit at home and be frustrated and crying like I won shit. But you know what I mean? Like it gives you a thing where you can say like, okay, well then I'm just going to get greater. I'm just going to get greater until this thing works for me. And it finally did. The biggest lesson I've learned is such a loaded motherfucking question. Have fun. That might sound a little messed up, but take it easier on myself, I guess, because somebody that's already, and that's for me. You asked me the biggest lesson I learned, you know what I mean? And I'm not sure, because you should have asked me that like last week so I could have meditated, smoked one, marinated on all of that, and then gave you a very great answer. But the first thing that came to mind is the fact that I do so many wonderful things. I travel around the world, meet people that I've only dreamed about meeting, and sometimes I was so pressed on the next thing or so pressed on what maybe someone else was doing, and not really eating from my own plate as much as I could. You know what I mean? And there's a better analogy than that. But I really wasn't enjoying the fruits of my labor in the way that I could have. Like I enjoy myself, but sometimes I was so distracted on what the next thing might be that I was so hard on myself that, you really don't enjoy all the wonderful things that actually do happen. So for me, that's a life lesson, and I still remember to do that. What would I tell somebody that is wanting to enter into comedy? Have a real passion for it. That's what I would want you to do. That's what I would want to tell them. The reason that I do comedy is because I want to serve people. I really enjoy the fact that I can change somebody's whole day. I can walk in a room and like shake that whole thing up. Like that's power to me. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to change somebody's emotional status. I think that you have to know why you're doing it. Somebody that really wants to do comedy. You know what I'm saying? If you just want to make some money, and act an ass, do it. Shit, put whatever up. It doesn't matter. But if there's someone that's passionate about a real career and something that you love, I would say really know the why that you're doing it. And for me, it's to serve, like I said. So as far as what I have coming up next, I am super proud of my class and program, Kicks in Comedy, where I teach self-defense and infuse it with comedy. I'm always talking about that because it's so important with the times that we are in right now. Women are getting caught up in sex trafficking and Me Too aggressions and all kind of unwanted touching. And my basic point is to empower women to be able to stop that kind of thing. I have a podcast called Comedy Dogs, which is centered around comedians and their dogs. I got a beautiful dog named Brother Jones, and Brother Jones, a dog who's a Golden Lab mix. That's my dog. That's my dog, and I love him. A lot of comedians love their dogs and would love to talk about them. We start the conversation with that, because when you travel a lot, you need a companion. Even your kids, your spouse, they don't do what your dog do. You know what I'm saying? And so we meet the dogs, we meet the comedians, and then the conversation expands from that. So it's at Comedy Dogs, and that's dogs with a Z. You can find out everything about me at vanessafraction.com. Follow me online, IG, Snapchat, Facebook, up your ass at Vanessa Fraction. At Vanessa Fraction is where you can find me and find out what I'm doing. It always changes. Like I said, a phone call will change your day. That is about it. I'm always touring. I'm always on the road. So